All right, so chapter 5, we are going to introduce the purchasing cycle. Now, we will utilize the purchasing cycle, the different stages of the purchasing cycle, and how we can control our costs in each stage as we go through. Okay, so how many stages are there in the purchasing cycle?
4.
4. Okay, so we start with purchasing. That's the first one. Okay, we start with purchasing. There we go. So we start with purchasing. After we've purchased the product, it is then delivered to our operation. So we receive it. After we receive it, we put it into storage. So we put it into our inventory, whether it goes in refrigeration, whether it goes in our dry storage or the freezer. Then we issue the ingredients, which means we put them into production. Okay. Now the ingredients have been used up and we have to order again. How do we know how much to order? It's based on what?
The amount we use.
The amount we use. Okay, so yeah, we're going to talk about par. And so our par tells us how much product we have to have. And so in between our issuing and our purchasing, we're going to do inventory. We're going to take an inventory of what product we have and what product we have to replace. Okay. And our goal is to get up to par. Okay. Our goal is to get up to par. When we are ordering, we want to make sure we know what the product specifications are. We need to know what those product specifications are. And there's two different categories. One is quality, good. The other one is
Quantity.
quantity. Okay. Quality and quantity. We need to know our quality and quantity of our products that we need to order. Where do I find that information of what types of products to order? From where? From the recipe, absolutely. Okay, that recipe is going to tell us what type of ingredients we have to order. Okay. Tiffany, give me an example of an ingredient that we use in the kitchen, a general ingredient.
Salt.
Salt. Perfect. Okay. Who can give me a quality of salt or a type of salt?
Kosher.
Kosher. Good.
Sea salt.
Sea salt.
How about that, like the flaky salt?
Okay, flaky salt, absolutely. Anybody else?
Himalayan.
Himalayan.
Is that what you said? Okay. So I'm going to do pink Himalayan salt. Oops, I see a comment. Yes, absolutely. Black salt. Okay. Any other ingredient, any other types of salt?
Iodized.
Iodized. That's often going to be our table salt. Okay. I saw can't remember where it was. I want to say it was like the Dead Sea salt. Maybe it was just sea salt. I can't remember. But it had an expiration date on it. Like it was something that I bought from the grocery store. It's like expires, let's say expires April 30th of 2025. And I was like, how old is this salt? And we know it's gonna expire on April 30th. It's been around for how long? Like that seems a little ridiculous. Okay, any other kind of salt that we have? Why do we use these different types of salt? They do taste different. Absolutely.
They function different in the recipe.
Yeah. Good. Table salt is usually a lot smaller crystals. Kosher salt's a little bit larger. I have friends that use they make like a butterscotch cookie, and then they put the black salt on top. So when you take a bite, you get the sweetness of the butterscotch, and then you get that saltiness of the black salt crystals on top. Okay. Now, pickling salt. Excellent, Amy. Thank you for that. Now quantity is basically how much. Okay, so do we buy it in 5 pounds, 10 pounds, 15 pounds? Okay, what's the quantity that we buy? What is an issue? Why do we need to know how much quantity to buy? What happens if we buy too much? Now, salt is maybe not a good example because, well, what would be an issue if we buy too much salt?
It'll expire before
You just
we
have
use
a
it.
lot of package.
A lot of packaging, okay, good. It could expire, okay? It could expire. What happens if salt gets wet?
It cakes.
Right, gets all hard and crusty. So what happens if we have a pipe burst and water floods and now we had a 50-pound bag of salt and now it's ruined, right? So sometimes ordering too much product has the potential for it to go bad. Maybe not necessarily expire, but it could go bad, right? In some way. And so ordering too much, but also think about how much space a 50-pound bag takes up versus like a little 1-pound container that can sit on our shelf. Okay. So if we're not using it all that much, we want to make sure we're ordering in the right amount. And that's where our par comes into play. Okay. That is where our par is going to come into play. Oops, that's not what I wanted. Okay, so we need to figure out what is our daily product usage, how much do we use? And then we figure out what is the time in between our deliveries. That's going to basically give us what our par is going to be. Okay, anybody play golf? What is par in golf?
It's even for front and for back, so most times the front is 36, so if you shoot an even 36, you shot par.
Right, but on each hole, what is the par? It's the minimum number of shots you have to get from the tee box to the hole, right? So the same thing par happens in our restaurants. That's the minimum amount of product we have to have on hand in order to operate effectively. Okay, so it kind of helps us give us that opportunity so we don't purchase too much or we don't purchase too little and then run out of product. Okay, so when we want to look at our par, if our product usage is the same every single day, we can simply multiply. I think this is letter A. Okay. If our daily usage is different from one day to the next, then we have to add. Okay. So let's take a look at our chicken. All right, so our chicken for the weekday, how many usage? Okay, let me back up for a second. On your notes page where it's highlighted Monday and Friday, those are our delivery days. Okay, so our goal is when that truck drives away on Monday, I'm up to my par for the week. Okay, so Monday, what is our daily usage on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday? How much is it per day?
2 cases.
2 cases per day. It's the same number, right? All 4 days. So 2 cases times 4 is equal to 8 cases. That's
Okay,
my par.
where'd you get the 4 days at? Where'd you get the times 4 at?
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 4 days.
Okay, I thought you said Monday through Friday. Okay.
Okay, Friday is our delivery for the weekend. So our goal is on Friday, when that truck drives away, our weekend. What is our usage for Friday?
6 cases.
6. How about Friday is how many? Friday is 6. How about Saturday?
6.
6 and Sunday?
2.
2. So that's 12 plus 2 is 14 cases. Okay? So go ahead and do the potatoes. And then the Bud Light kegs. And compare your answers to your neighbors. If you're online, you can type your answers in the chat. So we're looking for our weekday par for potatoes as well as our weekend par.
What happened? Chef, I can't hear you.
I'm not talking.
Oh, okay.
We're just working.
Where did you get all this info at?
It's on your notes page.
My notes page. Okay. I'm not at my notes page. All right.
So our potatoes, our weekday par is 450 pounds. Monday is how much?
100.
100. Tuesday is 100 and Wednesday 100. So that's 300. And then Thursday is
150.
150. So that's where we get our 450 pounds for our weekday par. So when that truck drives away on Monday, I should have 450 pounds of potatoes in my restaurant in order to make it through the week. Okay. The weekend, when it drives away on Friday, I'm going to get back up to par. So on Friday, when that truck drives away, I need to make sure I have 600 pounds of potatoes in my restaurant so I can get through the weekend. Okay. If we order too much product, if it goes bad, I've paid for it, but am I going to get any sales for that?
No.
No, so I'm not going to recoup those costs. So that's why we want to make sure that we're looking at our par. Now, if we consistently run out of product on a regular basis, we may have to consider upping our par, increasing our par. Okay, so this can change. It's not set in stone. For Bud Light, we have 1.5 kegs Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So times 4 is 6 kegs to get us through the week. On the weekends, 1.5 times Saturday, Sunday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday times 3 is 4.5. Okay, so I would probably round that up to 5 kegs. Because we cannot call Silver Eagle and say, hey, can you send me 4.5 kegs of Bud Light? Okay, we have to round it up to 5 to a whole number. Okay. Questions, comments, concerns about establishing par? So very simply, when we establish par, we don't always order exactly what our par is. So let's use this example right here of the duck, number 2. My par is 4, but I'm not going to automatically just purchase 4. I'm not going to use just my par. I want to first take into consideration what's in my inventory. So if I subtract from my inventory, then what I'm going to do is order just that par of 2. Sorry, just order that 2 so that when that truck drives away, I'm back up to par. Okay. And then for Thursday, my par is 8. I have 2 in inventory, so I subtract that. And I should only order 6. Okay. You see how that works? We're not automatically just ordering our par. Because if we did, that would be 4, 12, 16. We'd order 24 cases, right? And if we think about what we've actually used, that's not that much. So if we always order the par, we're going to be ordering way too much, okay? Unless, of course, we're out of product. If we're out of product, we're going to have to order the par. There's an episode of Kitchen Nightmares that I remember watching, and they had the specialty appetizer was smoked chicken wings. And this guy would come in and smoke like 100 orders of chicken wings every single day. He didn't take into any consideration about what was left over from the day before. So now I don't know if this is like legit how he operated or if it was for the dramatization of the show. But literally, when Gordon Ramsay got there, he would open the refrigerator and it was just shelves of smoked chicken wings. And then he'd open the drawers and there's full of chicken wings. And he goes out to the smoker and there's 100 orders on the smoker being smoked at the same time that has all these extra ones, right? That's not how we save money. That's not how we control our cost. So with this, we have a concept. Now, this does not take into consideration our lead time. Okay. Our lead time is the time between when we order the product and when it's actually delivered. Okay. So if I order it on Monday and it doesn't get to me till Wednesday, does that mean I shut down on Monday and Tuesday?
No.
No, I'm going to stay open for business, but I'm also using product during that time as well. So when I take into consideration for my ordering, remember, when that truck drives away, we want to be up to par. And so we have to take into consideration this lead time and the amount of product that we use in this lead time in order to make sure when that truck drives away, we are back up to par. Okay? So this is where the second page of your notes is going to come into play. Second page of your notes is going to come into place. I'm going to open it up here on the screen so everyone can see it.
Excuse me.
Yes.
What is number 5 on the notes page?
What is the question?
Blank is the minimum amount needed on hand for normal operations.
All right. Based on our conversation, what is that answer?
Par.
Thanks.
You're welcome. All right. So let's take a look here at this first example. Okay. All right, so for this first example, all the numbers, everything is already put in here for us. Okay, but we're gonna walk through it step by step. So the first thing that we want to do is we want to subtract our inventory from our par. Okay, so my par is 48. My inventory is 22. So when I subtract that, it tells me I should order 26. 26 bottles. Okay. Now that's perfect if I'm going to order and it's going to be delivered the very next day. Okay. That's not always the case. So now we're going to look and see, based on our information, our order is placed on Monday morning and our delivery is Wednesday morning. Okay. This is very important. When we say AM, anytime in any of these problems, when we say AM, that means before we open. Before we open, which means if we place our order before we open, we're going to have service all that day. We're going to use product all of that day. If our product is delivered in the morning, then that means it's going to be delivered before we open to the public, which means we're not going to have any usage during that lead time. Remember, the lead time is the time between I place the order and it's actually delivered. Okay. When we say PM, which will be the next couple of examples, PM is after closing. Okay. So let me give you an example. When I worked at Chester's Hamburgers, okay, the manager at night, the manager would place the order for the meat. So they would order after we've closed for the day. And then that meat would be delivered in the morning before we open. Okay. So every night on Monday night, we closed. They count how much meat is in the cooler. They figure out what our par is for Tuesday. And then they place the order. So is there any usage in between this time? No, because we're closed and it is delivered before we open to the public. Okay, so there's no usage in between that time. So our lead time usage is 0 in this case. Okay, does that make sense? Now, let's take a look at this actual problem here. So this is what I know it's written out for you, but this is what I would recommend that you do. Okay. We place the order on Monday morning. So Monday AM,
Yes.
and then it's delivered on Wednesday morning. Okay. So when it's delivered on Wednesday morning, what's in between Monday and Wednesday?
Tuesday.
Tuesday. So let's add Tuesday in. And then we can ask ourselves a question. If I place my order on Monday, am I going to use product on Monday? I place it before we open. So yes, I'm going to use product on Monday throughout the day. I'm definitely going to use it on Tuesday. If my order is delivered on Wednesday before I open, am I going to have any lead time usage?
No.
No, I'm not. Because remember, that truck's gonna pull up, drop off, and then I'm gonna open for the day, which means it's already been delivered. I'm gonna use that product on Wednesday from the new delivery, okay? So how many check marks do I have?
2.
2 check marks. So that is my lead time is 2 days. My daily usage based on my directions up here is 10 bottles. And now I want to add those 20 bottles in. So my order is actually going to be 46 bottles. Okay? Questions, comments, concerns? Let me show you on shelf. Okay? So my par is 48, right? In inventory, I have 22 in inventory. Okay? If I were only to order these 26 bottles, okay? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, and 26. If I just ordered those 26 bottles on Monday, right? Monday service happens, I open my doors to the public. I'm gonna use 10 bottles on Monday. Tuesday happens. I use my 10 bottles on Tuesday. Now my 26 bottles show up. Am I up to 48?
No.
I'm not. So that's where these extra 20 bottles come into play. So that when they do come in, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 20, I am now up to my 48 bottles. That truck drives away. Does that make sense? That's why we need to take into account our lead time usage. What are we going to use in between the time that we place our order and the order is actually delivered to us? Okay, so let's do another example together. Our par is how much?
24.
24, okay. And how much do we have in inventory?
6.
6.
Perfect. So we're gonna subtract those. 24 minus 6,
18.
perfect, 18. Okay. Now, our order is placed on Monday morning and a delivery is Tuesday morning. So I write order Monday AM, delivery Tuesday AM. Are there any days between Monday, Tuesday?
No.
Cool, so we're good there. Now, if I place my order on Monday morning, before I'm open, am I gonna have usage during Monday?
Yes.
Yes. My order is delivered on Tuesday before I open. Am I gonna have any lead time usage?
No.
No. And so what is my daily usage?
10.
10.
10 bottles. And what is my lead time? 1 day. 1 day times 10 bottles is 10 bottles. So I'm gonna add those 10. That's my lead time usage. So I should order 28. Okay. Does anybody have any questions? Anybody see anything concerning with this particular example?
So we will use the daily usage times the lead time that we have to get the, okay.
Yep. So if we take a look, I'm ordering 28. What's my par? 24. Why am I ordering more than my par?
Because we still have to have a day of service.
Right, so I'm ordering more than my par Because if we take a look, I only have 6 in inventory and my daily usage is 10, which means I'm already short, okay? So this is a perfect example of mathematically, you would order 28. But in the real world, you would say, you know what? We're gonna only order 24. Okay? Because that's our par. Depending on what these bottles are, if I'm gonna be short 4 bottles, I may say, hey, Aaron, I need you to run to HEB and go get 4 bottles of this. So that way we can make it through until our delivery. And then we would just order the par and not the actual overage. Okay. So again, this is mathematically, this is our answer, which is great, but you have to realize, okay, in the real world, I wouldn't order more than my par just because the math tells me to. You have to be able to apply it. Okay. Let's do one last one together.
I got a question,
Yes, sir.
and I don't know if it's the next question, but next example. Weekends, like say, sometimes most restaurants don't open on are open on Sunday. Say we order, um, that we order on a Friday morning and delivery is Monday morning, but how's that work when Sunday's closed? So do we count for, or we don't know if Sunday's open or closed? So how do we count for those days?
So we go back to that formula we talked about where your daily usage, if you're closed on a day like Sunday, your daily usage is 0. So then you would factor that into your par. So your
Okay.
par for Friday, when that truck drops off on Friday, you need to have enough product to get you through until Monday when that next delivery comes. And
Okay.
so if you're closed on Sundays, then your par is you're basically your daily usage is 0 on that day. So your par for Friday would only consider Friday and Saturday.
Okay.
Yep.
So we just count, but we don't know if Sunday's open or not. But that determines if I'm just using an example as in I'll go to a restaurant, but I don't know if we're open Sundays or if we're not. So okay, I got it.
Yep. All right. So this next example here. What is our par?
500.
500. And in inventory we have
200.
200. So we subtract those and get 300. Perfect. Okay. Now I have to figure out what my lead time is. When do I place my order?
Tuesday night.
Tuesday PM. And my delivery is
Thursday.
Thursday AM. Okay. So we might look at this and say, oh my gosh, I've got 3 days between Tuesday and Thursday of delivery time, right? But in reality, am I gonna have usage on Tuesday? No, because I'm already closed for the day. PM, remember, PM means after we're closed already. So Tuesday PM, we're already closed for the day. That means we used it previously. Wednesday, yes. Thursday AM, that truck gets delivered before we open, so we're not gonna have any lead time usage on Thursday. So in reality, it's only 1 day. So understanding when our orders and when our deliveries are happening is gonna tell you what our delivery and our lead time usage is going to be. So our daily usage is 150 pounds. So I should order 450 pounds. Okay. Questions, comments, concerns about those?
You added that, right?
I added, yes. You always add that lead time usage because we're gonna basically see on Wednesday, we're potentially going to use 150 pounds. Okay, and so I'm gonna add that back in to my order. Now, what happens? What happens if Wednesday we only use 100 pounds?
And we just have extra.
We have a little extra, right? And hopefully we're using FIFO, first in, first out. So we use our older product first. And then when we do our inventory, we'll be able to accommodate for that again. Okay. So it's okay, if we only used 100 pounds on Wednesday, maybe we were slower than we thought we were going to be. Well, when that truck drops off with that 450 pounds, then I'm technically gonna be at 550 pounds. I got a little extra weight, right? And that's okay. I'm gonna use that older product first and then cycle it through when I do my inventory. And maybe I'm not gonna order as much the next time.
Possible special in the future.
Or maybe I got a special in the future, so I can use it up. Absolutely. Okay? Yes.
The 300, when you subtracted it at first, is that what you need to order, right?
Well, that's ideally what we need to order plus our usage. Yeah, so that's our starting point. Okay, and we have to consider our lead time usage after that. You're welcome. All right. So the next two you're gonna do on your own. Let's take a look at this last page. Okay, let's all take a look at the last page together. We're gonna combine figuring out what our par is and then actually applying that, okay? For the last page, it's the front of the first page, front of the last page, there we go. The front of the last page, we're gonna calculate our weekday and weekend par. And then we're gonna use those numbers on the back page, okay? So our weekday par, what does our direction say our daily usage is Monday through Thursday?
250.
Okay, so 250 pounds per day times Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday times 4 days is equal to 1,000 pounds. Now, this problem right here throws in this concept of a safety factor. Okay. A 10% safety factor means you want to add 10% just in case we're a little bit busier than we thought we were going to be. Okay. So what is 10% of 1,000?
100.
100. We add those together. And our weekday par is 1,000, no, not dollars, sorry, is 1,100 pounds. That is our weekday par. So when that truck drops off on Monday, I want to make sure I'm up to 1,100 pounds. We all see how we got that? Any questions about how we get 1,100 pounds? All right, so now let's go to the weekend. What does it say we purchase or we use on the weekend?
1,200.
So 400 pounds per day times 3 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 1,200. What is 10% of 1,200?
120.
120.
120. So 1,320 pounds is our weekend par. Weekend par. Questions, comments, concerns? So 1,100 pound is our weekday, 1,320 is our weekend. Now, what I would like you to do on your own is on that back page, use those two numbers, the weekday and weekend par, and the weekday and weekend daily usage, to figure out how much product we should order based on the information that you have provided.
The last page.
All right. So what is our weekend par?
1320.
1,320. In the inventory, we have 300. So we subtract those two, we get 1,020. Okay. My order is placed on Thursday AM and delivery is Friday AM.
So
Okay. So Thursday, yes, Friday, no. One day. But that one day is specific to Thursday, which is 250 pounds. So it's kind of weird. It's a weekend par, but we're using the weekday daily usage because that's what the day that we place our order. So we add that 250 pounds
Oh.
to get 1270. And then 1270 divided by 50 is 25.4. So we're gonna round that up to 26 bags. I can't order 0.4 of a bag. Okay? Then our weekday par was
1,100.
1,120, right? Or no, 1,100.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so our weekday par is 1,100. We're placing our order for the week. In inventory, we have 600 pounds. We subtract those two numbers and get 500. Okay. Now I place my order on Saturday PM after closing. And the delivery is Monday AM. So in between Saturday and Sunday, Saturday and Monday is Sunday. So not on Saturday. Yes on Sunday. No usage on Monday because the order will be there before we open. And our weekend usage is 400 pounds per day on Sunday. So that's a total of 900. 900 divided by 50 pounds is 18 bags. Okay. Now, most oftentimes, especially if you work for like a corporation like McDonald's or let's say Dunkin' Donuts or anything else, right? Starbucks, they have a computer system. You just put in what your inventory is, and the computer system will tell you how much to order. Okay. But you need to understand what those numbers mean. Okay. Because you may say, oh yeah, you know what? This is my amount of inventory I have. The computer tells me I need to order 18 bags. I need to order 900 pounds of potatoes. But what the computer doesn't know is that that following week is going to be the NCAA men's Final Four. And you're going to be busier 2 to 3 times busier than you think you're going to be. Because we're going to have, I don't know how many tens of thousands of people visiting. So your computer tells you, yeah, order this much. But you have to know, you know what? No, I need to order more than that so I can get through this weekend. Because how horrible would it be if you run out of product and you can't service guests that are willing to pay for food and they're going to go to your competitors because you ran out of product because you let the computer tell you how much product to order. Okay? So there is still some element of human interaction and intervention that needs to happen. Just because your computer tells you to order this much, your computer doesn't know what's happening in the city. Okay? Your computer doesn't know that we have 20,000 Alcoholics Anonymous. Am I going to over order my beer and my wine that weekend? Heck no. Right? And so I may not have to order up to my par on those weekends when we have those particular groups in our city. So there is some level of human intervention that has to come into play. Okay. Any questions, comments, concerns about ordering, purchasing, and how we can control our costs in our purchasing stage of our purchasing cycle?
No.
Okay. Yeah.
Can you remind me how you got the lead time usage?
Yeah, so my lead time usage, the order is placed on Saturday after closing. So Saturday PM means I've already closed for the day. I'm not gonna use any more product that day. Sunday, I'm gonna use product on Sunday, and my order comes in on Monday morning before I open to the public. So I'm not gonna use anything on Monday. So when that truck drives away on Monday morning, I should be back up to my par of 1,100. Right?
How would be 1,100 because it's gonna come in on Monday right now because.
Correct, it's my weekday par. I'm ordering on the weekend, so again, you have to think about it. That's why I put those two specific examples in here. We're ordering based on Monday's par, but if we order it on Saturday, we have to think about our daily usage based on Sunday. What we're gonna use on Sunday. Okay? All right. That is all I have for today.